All right, so you're getting ready for this Fisheries Boatmaster interview, and we are going to unpack RoleCatcher's insights and your prep materials to get you completely ready.
Yeah, this is really exciting because this role, I think a lot of people don't realize it's more than just driving a boat.
Right.
It's navigation, it's understanding fish behavior, and then there's the whole conservation aspect, and then tons of regulations.
Yeah, a whole ocean of regulation.
Right, exactly.
So let's kind of navigate these interview waters, and we're going to use RoleCatcher's interview guide.
Yeah.
It gives us 10 killer questions, and we're going to go through those and give you tips on how to really stand out.
Yeah.
And I do want to mention right off the bat that RoleCatcher's AI can actually analyze job descriptions, so you can fine-tune your answers even further. It's like having a seasoned first mate right in your pocket.
Yeah, it's really cool how it does that.
All right, so let's dive into question number 1.
Okay.
Can you describe your experience working on a fisheries vessel?
So, even if you haven't captained a vessel before, you can still really impress here, I think, about anything related.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you've crewed on a vessel before, maybe you've helped with gear, or even just volunteered at a marina.
So it's about showing that spark
Yeah.
that you're eager to learn.
Absolutely.
But what if someone's just starting out? How do they frame their response?
Well, RoleCatcher actually gives a really good tip here. They say, imagine you spent your summers, at a marina.
Okay.
You might not have been at the helm,
Right.
but you learned knots, you did some basic maintenance, you saw these experienced boatmasters doing their thing.
Yeah.
So just emphasizing that willingness to jump in and really focusing on the safety aspect.
So it's about that proactive attitude,
Over.
even without the years of experience.
Absolutely.
And this is where I think RoleCatcher's AI feedback is really helpful.
Hmm.
You can practice your answers and get some targeted tips
Oh, for sure.
to really nail it.
Absolutely. And, they might hit you with some follow-up questions like, what type of fishing gear are you familiar with? Or describe a time you solved a problem on board.
Okay.
And so this is where you can really show off that you've done your research,
Mm.
brush up on terminology, and have that specific anecdote ready that shows you can really problem solve on your feet.
Okay, so be ready to go deeper. Show them you can handle the unexpected.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to question number 2.
Okay.
This one is, how do you ensure the safety of the crew and passengers on board the vessel?
This one is crucial, and it's not just about, rattling off regulations.
Yeah, it's about demonstrating that you're really committed to safety.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher emphasizes this. A good boatmaster creates a culture of safety.
Okay.
So you want to talk about regular drills, maintaining equipment, and of course, knowing those maritime laws like the back of your hand.
So it's about being a leader, not just a rule follower.
Exactly. And they might even ask, have you ever dealt with a safety violation? How did you handle it? So you want to be ready to share, a situation where you had to enforce protocols, even if it was a tough call.
Okay, think about those situations where you had to make those judgment calls.
Right.
And that shows your commitment to safety.
For sure.
All right, question number 3. How do you navigate in adverse weather conditions?
So this one is really going to test your experience and your judgment, when the sea gets rough.
Yeah.
It's not just about reading a chart. It's about making good decisions when visibility is low or something unexpected happens.
Right.
And so RoleCatcher talks about understanding weather patterns and using your equipment effectively and always erring on the side of caution.
Yeah, it's like that old saying, one hand for yourself, one for the ship. But seriously, I think having a compelling story here could really help.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe a time you navigated through a storm,
Mm,
and really emphasize those steps you took to make sure everyone stayed safe.
absolutely. And be prepared for that follow-up. Like, what factors do you consider when deciding to fish or head back to port in bad weather?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
It's about balancing, that drive to catch fish, but also, keeping safety the absolute top priority.
Yeah, the safety of everybody on board.
Yeah. All right, question number 4. How do you ensure compliance with fishing regulations and quotas?
This one might seem a little dry, but it is so important, for sustainability.
It's about protecting the very resource you're working with.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher's career guide stresses how important this is. You need to know catch limits, size restrictions, protected species.
Hmm.
You're not just fishing, you're safeguarding the future of this whole industry.
So you're a steward of the sea, not just a harvester.
Right.
So how would you suggest someone showcase their knowledge here?
I would mention specific strategies that you use to track your catch and make sure you're staying within the legal limits. And I might even ask something like, what would you do if you suspected another vessel was fishing illegally?
Ooh.
And so this is where you can show your integrity and your commitment to doing things the right way.
It's about taking a stand for what's right, even when it's tough. All right, question number 5. How do you maintain and repair fishing gear and equipment?
So this is where your resourcefulness comes into play.
Okay, it's MacGyver on a boat.
Exactly, because, when you're miles offshore, you can't just call a repairman.
Right.
So RoleCatcher suggests mentioning your experience with certain types of gear, any certifications you have, and really showing off your troubleshooting skills.
And don't forget preventative maintenance.
Yeah.
Show that you're proactive, you care about keeping things running smoothly.
Oh, absolutely.
They might even ask you something like, describe a time you dealt with a mechanical problem at sea. How did you solve it?
Yeah, that's a great opportunity to show how you can think on your feet under pressure.
Mhm.
And again, this is where RoleCatcher's AI can be really helpful. You can practice your answer, get some feedback,
Yeah.
really refine your approach.
So it's not just about knowing what to do, it's about conveying that knowledge.
Exactly.
All right, let's move on to question number 6. Can you describe your experience communicating with other vessels and agencies while on duty?
Communication is key everywhere, but especially out on the open water where it could literally be a matter of safety.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher points out that a boatmaster needs to be that clear, concise communicator, using proper radio protocol and terminology.
So it's more than just knowing how to use a VHF radio.
Yeah, you have to understand maritime signals, distress calls, and how to convey really important information sometimes in life-threatening situations.
It's about being that calm, reassuring voice in the storm.
Right.
So how can someone best showcase their communication skills in an interview?
Share an example of a time where you had to communicate with another vessel, maybe during a tough situation, or when you had to relay some information to the Coast Guard.
Okay, so think about those moments where clear communication was key.
Exactly.
All right, question number 7. This one is, how do you ensure the vessel is properly maintained and in good working condition?
Okay.
This is going beyond just fixing a leaky faucet.
Right. You have to have that proactive mindset.
Seeing potential problems before they become big problems.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher really emphasizes the importance of doing those routine inspections, understanding how the boat's systems work, and having a really good eye for detail.
What are some key points that someone should highlight when they answer this question?
So, talk about your experience with routine tasks like checking the engine fluids, inspecting the hull, testing the safety equipment.
Okay.
You want to show them you really understand the engine, the electrical system, the whole shebang.
They might even ask you to describe a time you dealt with a mechanical problem at sea and how you troubleshooted it.
Yeah, that's a perfect opportunity to show off your problem-solving skills.
Right.
Talk about the steps you took, how you found a solution, and how you stayed calm under pressure.
It's about being that resourceful captain that everyone can rely on.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to question number 8. How do you manage and train crew members?
This one is all about leadership. A good boatmaster is more than just a captain. They're a mentor, a coach, and a leader that inspires their crew to work well together.
Yeah, it's like a family out there, and you're the head of the household.
Exactly. So you want to talk about delegating tasks, giving clear instructions, and making sure everybody understands their roles and responsibilities. And don't forget conflict resolution.
Oh, yeah.
Things can get a little tense on a fishing vessel, especially during those long trips.
Right, it's like a pressure cooker out there sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So the interviewer wants to know that you can handle disagreements, keep things positive, and maintain a good working environment.
It's about being that steady hand on the wheel, even when things get choppy.
Absolutely.
All right. Question number 9 gets to the heart of the operation. How do you ensure the vessel is operating efficiently and meeting production goals?
Okay.
It's that balancing act, right?
Yeah.
Safety, compliance, and actually catching those fish.
Exactly. They want to know that you understand the business side of things and that you can manage your resources effectively.
Yeah.
So here's where you can really showcase your knowledge about the fish you're targeting, fishing techniques, and best practices for catching as many as possible.
So it's working smarter, not harder.
Exactly, and highlight your ability to plan trips, taking into account the weather, the tides, the good fishing spots. And don't forget fuel efficiency. A good boatmaster knows how to conserve fuel without giving up too much on the catch.
So it's about being efficient and environmentally conscious.
Exactly.
All right, now let's wrap up this section with question number 10. How do you handle emergency situations on board the vessel?
Okay.
This one really gets to the core of your leadership.
Yeah, RoleCatcher says it best. They say you need a plan and you need to know how to execute it when things are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see you stay calm, think clearly, and guide your crew through a crisis.
Okay.
This is your chance to really shine as a leader.
So what are some key points to hit when answering this question?
So start by highlighting that you know how to use all of the safety equipment. Life rafts, flares, first aid kits, the whole 9 yards. And be ready to talk about different types of emergencies, man overboard fires, engine failures.
You got to have that mental checklist ready to go.
Exactly. And emphasize that you can assess risks, prioritize what needs to happen, and communicate with the Coast Guard or other ships.
So it's not just about reacting, it's about leading.
Exactly.
All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground here, and it is important to practice your answers. And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can give you really valuable feedback.
Yeah.
It can help you refine your approach and, really boost that confidence.
Absolutely. It's like having a personal coach to help you get ready for the big game.
Okay, before we move on to the next section, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll dive into some career insights from RoleCatcher to give you an even better understanding of this path ahead. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. So now that we've charted a course through some of those interview questions, let's shift gears and explore what a career as a fisheries boatmaster actually looks like.
Yeah, and we're going to pull those insights from RoleCatcher's career guide.
Yeah, it's really important to understand the realities of this job.
Yeah.
Both the good and the bad.
Right.
Because it's not all, sunshine and calm seas.
Absolutely.
RoleCatcher paints a pretty honest picture here. They go through the pros and cons, and let's start with the challenging stuff. Long hours, physically demanding work, being exposed to all kinds of weather.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone.
It's true. You really have to be resilient, have a love for the sea.
But I think for the right person, those challenges are actually part of the appeal.
Oh, yeah.
And RoleCatcher even highlights working in nature as a major pro.
For sure.
I mean, honestly, that's a pretty amazing perk.
Absolutely. You get that sense of freedom and adventure that's hard to find in other jobs.
And it's not just about the experience.
No.
RoleCatcher mentions the potential for high earnings.
Yes.
Especially as you gain experience and expertise.
Absolutely, especially in those specialized fisheries or if you end up, captaining larger vessels.
And speaking of long-term prospects, RoleCatcher points out, job security is a major plus. As long as there's demand for seafood-skilled fisheries, boatmasters are going to be needed.
Right.
And you can leverage that during the interview.
For sure.
When they ask about your future goals, emphasize that commitment to the career path.
Right.
Talk about your interest in, growing within the industry, maybe becoming a captain, getting additional certifications.
Yeah, show them you're in it for the long haul.
Yeah, you're not just looking for a job, you're looking for a career.
Right.
Now, RoleCatcher does outline different career stages, from entry level to senior positions. Can you give us a sense of what that growth might look like?
Well, you might start as a deckhand, getting some hands-on experience learning the ropes, and from there you could move up to a mate position, taking on more responsibility, and maybe even some leadership roles.
So you're kind of climbing that ladder, proving yourself along the way.
Yeah, exactly. And as you get more experience, you might even specialize in a certain type of fishery, or, think about starting your own fishing business.
Wow.
There are a lot of possibilities.
And remember, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answers to highlight those specific goals. So let's say a job description really emphasizes leadership. You can use the AI to, refine your answers and showcase your experience managing a crew or handling those really difficult situations.
Right. It's all about presenting yourself as the perfect candidate for that specific job.
Now let's dive back into those interview questions we left off with question number 6, which was all about communication.
Okay.
And this is absolutely crucial out on the water.
Yeah, effective communication can be the difference between a successful fishing trip and a dangerous one.
RoleCatcher emphasizes that a boatmaster needs to be a clear and concise communicator, using the right radio protocols and terminology.
Yeah.
It's more than just knowing how to use the VHF radio.
Right. You have to understand those maritime signals, those distress calls, and be able to convey important information even when things are chaotic.
Yeah.
So in the interview, highlight your experience with the VHF radio maritime signals and how you communicate with the Coast Guard and other agencies. And, it doesn't hurt to share a story about a time where you had to communicate really effectively during a tricky situation.
Right. It shows them you can handle the pressure and be clear when it matters most.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, question 7 focuses on making sure the vessel is in good working order.
Okay.
so it's properly maintained.
Right. And here you really want to show that you're proactive about maintenance and that you understand the boat's systems.
Hmm.
Remember, a well-maintained vessel is a safe vessel and an efficient one.
RoleCatcher suggests, talking about your experience with routine tasks like checking those engine fluids, inspecting the hull, and testing the safety equipment.
Hmm.
And it's all about showing that you're not afraid to get your hands dirty. You understand the importance of keeping everything in tip-top shape.
Absolutely. And be ready to go beyond the basics.
Yeah.
They might ask you to describe a time when you had a mechanical problem at sea
Yeah.
and how you figured out what was wrong.
Right.
This is a great opportunity to show off your problem-solving skills and how you can stay calm when things get tough.
It's about being resourceful.
Yeah,
That captain that can handle any curveball.
absolutely.
All right, now question 8 shifts the focus to leadership. How do you manage and train crew members?
Okay.
This is where you really showcase your ability to build a team, delegate effectively, and create a good working environment.
Hmm.
Remember, a boatmaster is more than just a captain. They're a leader.
Right. And RoleCatcher points out that conflict resolution is a key part of managing a crew.
Oh, yeah, because things can get tense on a fishing vessel.
Yeah, for sure. So you've got to be able to handle disagreements effectively.
Mhm.
Think about a time you had to resolve a conflict on board or coach a crew member through a tough task. Sharing those experiences shows your leadership style and your ability to create a harmonious work environment.
And that's something every interviewer is looking for.
Absolutely.
Now, question 9 gets into the business side of things. How do you ensure the vessel is operating efficiently,
Okay.
meeting those production goals?
Right. So this is your chance to really show that you understand the fishing industry, how to manage resources, and how to maximize that catch while still following all the rules.
It's about that balance between, profitability and sustainability.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher suggests, talking about fishing techniques, best practices for maximizing catch and your ability to plan trips effectively,
Mhm.
factoring in things like the weather, the tides, and where the fish are biting.
So you're not just a skilled captain, you're a smart business person too.
Right. And don't forget about fuel efficiency.
Oh, yeah.
A good boatmaster knows how to save fuel without sacrificing the catch.
Right.
And that shows that you're environmentally aware and that you understand the importance of saving money.
Okay, now for the final question in this section, question 10. How do you handle emergency situations on board the vessel?
Right.
This is where your leadership really gets put to the test.
Right. This one is all about preparedness, being
Mhm.
able to think quickly and taking decisive action.
Mhm.
RoleCatcher emphasizes knowing those safety procedures inside and out, assessing risks, and communicating with the Coast Guard and other vessels.
You've got to be the calm in the storm, that reassuring presence that guides everyone to safety.
Exactly. So be ready to talk about different types of emergencies, like a man overboard, a fire, or an engine failure.
Okay.
And describe what you would do in each situation and emphasize that you can stay calm under pressure and make good decisions.
Yeah.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI can be super helpful.
Oh, yeah.
Practice your answers to these high-pressure scenarios, get some feedback.
Okay.
It's like having a virtual simulation to get you ready for the real thing.
Exactly. All right, well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored the role of a fisheries boatmaster, tackled those interview questions, and got some great career insights from RoleCatcher's resources. And remember, the key to doing well in that interview is preparation confidence and a real passion for the work.
Absolutely.
Show them you're not just qualified, but you're enthusiastic and you're ready to take the helm.
Right. And don't forget about RoleCatcher.
Yeah.
Use their AI features to fine-tune your answers, boost your confidence, and navigate your way to a successful interview.
Now, before we wrap up this deep dive, we're going to leave you with one final thought to ponder. Stay tuned. All right, welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into becoming a fisheries boatmaster.
Yeah, we've gone through those tough interview questions, explored the career path. Now it's all about making a great impression.
Okay, so for our listeners out there who are getting ready to step into that interview room, what's the most important thing to remember?
I think it comes down to 3 things. Be authentic, be prepared, and be passionate.
Okay, let's unpack those authentic, meaning don't try to be someone you're not.
Exactly. They want to see the real you, not some perfect version of a boatmaster. Be honest about your experience, your strengths, even areas where you want to grow. That goes a long way.
And prepared. Well, we've spent this whole deep dive talking about that, knowing the job description, researching the company, practicing your answers. That shows them you're serious.
And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can really help you refine those answers and boost your confidence. It's like having a seasoned boatmaster right there giving you tips.
Okay, and finally, passionate. This is a tough job, but it's also incredibly rewarding, so let that enthusiasm shine through.
Absolutely. Talk about what excites you about this work, the challenges you want to tackle, and your commitment to sustainable fishing. That kind of energy is contagious.
Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. If you were the interviewer, what one question would you ask to see if someone's really cut out for this job?
Hmm, that's a good question. Beyond the skills and experience, I would want to see how resilient they are. So I might ask something like, tell me about a time you faced a major setback at sea. How did you overcome it? And what did you learn?
I love that it really gets to the heart of, you know, a boatmaster's ability to handle those tough situations, adapt to ever-changing conditions, and stay positive even when things get rough.
Exactly, because out there on the water, you're going to face unexpected challenges. It's how you handle them that shows your true potential as a fisheries boatmaster.
Well, there you have it, our deep dive into acing, that Fisheries Boatmaster interview. Remember, it's not just what you know, it's how you present yourself. Confidence, preparation, and a passion for the industry will help you stand out.
And if you want that extra edge, don't forget about RoleCatcher. Their AI features can really make a difference. Good luck, and may you always have fair winds and following seas.